Championship 2022-23. Interesting year. Having looked at the different turn off Championship 2022-23, not very good at this, am I? The league seems to be quite well split into three sections of 8. So I'm going to start at the bottom and start with work my way up, just like most of them do. In 24th position, I've got Reading. I don't see that Reading have actually improved at all. I know they've lost a few. I know they've gained a few decent ones, but I just don't seem to think they've really gained any momentum or any improvement. In 23rd, I've got Wigan. They haven't made any changes. Not really. I think they've brought in 2 players that I don't think they've really improved the team. Last season finished on a low all the way from January. They've not really played greatly, and to jump up into the Championship with a team that's played so long quite poorly is not really befitting of a team that can try and stay in the Championship. 22nd, my first surprise is Blackpool. Again, another team that just hasn't really caught the eye as being a great improver this year. In 21st, I've got Bristol City. I don't know. They started the transfer window with lots of hope, and they were mentioning some superb people that they were going for, but they just didn't get the ones they were looking to get with the looks of it. In 20th position, reluctantly I've put Birmingham. I'm not quite sure what their new management is going to be like, having been disqualified from football management for football directorship for 3 years and just coming out of it. Is he going to be putting money into the club? Is he really interested in taking the club forward? No great signings, no improvement, not seemingly going anywhere. I put Rotherham in 19th. I think they've made a lot of changes. They've gone from a striker Smith that could probably score 9 or 10 in the Championship, and Ladapo that probably that destroyed the changing room atmosphere and probably score about 7 or 8, to having a couple of strikers that can score 10, 15 has to be an improvement. And the back line, Icky was very much hit and miss, making a few mistakes, and in the Championship you make mistakes and you lose the game. So I think they've improved, and to that end I put them 19th. 18th, I've got Preston. That's a difficult one. They could finish anywhere in that middle section between 9th and 19th. But I put them in 18th because I think the rest of, although they've improved a lot, I think the rest of the teams above them have improved a little bit more than what they have. In 17th, I've got Cardiff. They've improved a little bit, I think, just not a great deal. And their ownership are actually looking and trying to make sure that they're not disintegrating too quickly. So I think they're doing quite well considering their budget. Luton Town, the first of the middle section, in 16th. I am actually impressed with their signings. I don't know why. I don't know. I think it's mainly because of the other teams around them probably having a more solid squad than what they have, and a more in-depth squad. They really don't seem to have the depth. In 15th, I've got Coventry. Again, They have improved. It's just a case of the others improved probably just a little bit more. 14th Swansea. You can't say much about this middle section, can you? They're all quite even. 13th Millwall, 12th QPR, 11th Blackburn, 10th Sunderland. I think Sunderland could be the dark horse. I think Sunderland are one of my two dark horses for this year. And you could quite easily get Sunderland somewhere in that between sort of 6th and 10th position. In 9th, I've got Hull. One of those teams that will all these Turkish players really play together, and will they be able to gel from day one? Here I'm saying they will gel probably from day, I don't know, day 30. I'll give them a month, and I think they'll start to gel. If they don't, they could be seriously down near the bottom. Huddersfield I've got in 8th. I think they've lost some key players, and from last night, they just didn't have the edge. Just didn't have the edge at all. 7th I've got Burnley. I still am not convinced with who they've got in. The Man City players, yeah, I'm convinced with those. But the rest of them, a bit of a gamble. I think it's either going to be a gamble that does pay off or it doesn't. And I put them in 7th considering that it won't quite pay off. It's a lot tougher being a striker in the Championship. Being a great striker in League One doesn't make you a good striker in the Championship necessarily. Sheffield United in 6th, I think not much change, but enough of a hold to keep them where they were. First dark horse, or second dark horse as it is, Stoke City. They've been quite canny with their signings. They've only signed where they need to sign. So where they found themselves a little bit weak last year, they've sort of tweaked the squad a little bit, just enough, and they've improved the positions they needed to improve. Quite impressive, but will it work? I think it might do. I think they might be the dark horse. Then I've got Watford in 4th. I think Watford are one of those teams where I remember not last season, but the season before, I think it was Derby Watford. Oh, the most boring game ever. 0 shots on goal and dreadful game. But that's the way Watford do. They kill the game off. But they do it really well. I can't see them. I can't see them finishing any lower than 4th. I think 4th is only because the teams above them are, in my eyes, quite solid, quite they've got a huge depth of team, and I think that they will not really struggle this season. So 3rd, I've got the West Brom. I don't think they're going to be struggling. I think that their team is well prepared, in depth. They've played together enough now to be able to play a decent set of games. Then I've got Middlesbrough in 2nd, and of course Norwich in 1st. I don't know what people think. I think it's quite a difficult season to predict, but I do think that there are 3 definite sections there. The top section of 8, obviously most of them have got parachute payments, and then you've got the second section of 8 who are just Championship sides that are just going to stay Championship sides unless they really put tons of money in. Sunderland are in there in 10th. I think that they will return to the Premiership, but because they've got such huge numbers of fans, I think their season ticket sales alone are about the third of the entire Rotherham borough population. So it's just ridiculous, isn't it? So they've got a huge following, and I can't see them not being able to spend that properly and get back up. But yeah, it's a difficult one. I can't see. I think you have to look at the bottom and think, are there what teams haven't improved, who could finish below you? So the likes of Birmingham, is there anybody else below you that haven't improved, that would be deemed as being worse than you? And I think there are. Rotherham, I think they've improved, and I think there are teams worse than them below them. I think it's when you get to teams like Reading, they haven't improved, and there's no real team you can put below them that hasn't improved. I mean, you can't put Rotherham below them because they have improved, and they've improved with Championship players. So it's not. You can't automatically say yo team right bottom. Wigan, no improvement whatsoever, and they were only 2 points ahead of Rotherham in the when they won the league. So I'm not that impressed. Blackpool, unknown. Yeah, they have got a couple of teams, but that I think are worse than them. There's probably a couple of teams above there that like Bristol City and Birmingham, possibly even Rotherham, that could potentially be worse than them. So I think that's the way we have to look at it. Look at a team and think, are there worse teams than that? And I think a lot of people who are putting out predictions on this site are just they're following the crowd and just immediately going in one direction without thinking, actually, have they improved? Is there anybody who hasn't improved that's worse than them? I'll be interested to read your comments. So if anybody does have a comment, please post it in the comments section, and I'll maybe come back with a second update when we've had a few games. Thank you for listening.